Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. Before I actually get into it, one thing I want to mention to you guys is I don't know if you've been able to tell lately, but I've been really kind of trying to figure out what kind of content you guys like, what things are the most interactive but yet provide value but also entertainment. I've been kind of going back and forth on, do I do vlogs, lifestyle, just showing my everyday activities? Do I do videos like these where I teach you guys something? And so I kind of thought about it, I kind of slept on it last night, and what I'm going to start to be doing on this channel is literally I'm going to be going 24/7. I'm going to be making YouTube kind of a full-time thing for me, even though it's kind of been a full-time thing. But I'm going to be posting videos 7 days a week. Literally, I'm going to be doing this for the next couple months because I want to grow the audience and I want to just be able to teach people what we do and kind of bring them into the community as best as possible. So I think the best way to do that is really just bring them into the channel. So what I'm going to be doing is kind of doing a mix of both vlogs and kind of dropping value for you guys pretty much in every single video. So every single video I'm going to be kind of taking you through my day, and probably at the end I'm going to be dropping some value bombs for you guys, teaching you something in there, or during the vlog part of the video. So I'm going to be having both in there. So if you guys do want to see that, let me know. I think that's probably the best thing to kind of attract every kind of audience, for people that like vlogs and people that also like just content. You get the best of both worlds. So with that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But with that said, getting into today's video, being in the phone flipping industry for a little bit over a year now, I've started to realize like what are the different paths of phone flipping. I don't really know what I'm going to be titling this yet because obviously I haven't uploaded yet, so I'm trying to figure out what I should title this video. But today I'm actually going to be talking about what are kind of the different paths you can kind of go with phone flipping, where you should basically start, and what could be the end goal for you. There's a couple different routes that I've seen just from being kind of the admin of my group, seeing what other people do, being in other Facebook groups, and just kind of getting a consensus of how people make different kinds of money in the phone flipping industry. So with that said, I want to give you guys kind of the like something to look forward to, and kind of like, because you always want to have a plan for business, like what you should potentially be working towards. So with that said, I'm going to be going into that in today's video. I'm going to hop into my computer. I'm going to be drawing it out a little bit of a graph for you guys. So enough of me talking about the intro. Let's get right into it. So again, you guys can tell I'm in my computer. This isn't like one of those like really like in Word things. This might get a little bit messy because I'm just using my mouse here to draw it for you. But again, I'm gonna be talking about different phone flipping paths. So pretty much I've kind of broken it down into 4 separate things. So most of you obviously know would just be local. This is gonna take me a little while. Local buyer and seller. So that is honestly kind of the first path, I mean, most of us get into. Some people start a little bit more aggressively. I know some people that go directly into like brick and mortar stores and stuff like that, simply because they have the capital. They just outsource everything. They just own like the whole business, and I've seen that. But pretty much always everybody just starts with local buying and selling, and that's what I recommend if you are a beginner. That's kind of where everybody kind of goes through, is the local buying and selling phase. You need to learn how to appraise phones. You need to learn how to negotiate. You need to learn like everything there is pretty much to know about an iPhone or Android, wherever you're kind of comfortable buying and selling. So that's kind of the first path that I did. And so a lot of you are, 95% of you are probably at this stage, and a lot of you are wondering, where do I go from there? I mean, you can either kind of go in, I'd say 3 different routes from there. So you can either keep doing it. So I'm gonna write keep here, keep buying and selling locally. Sorry. So you can either keep buying locally, salary. The second way you can kind of go from that is kind of transitioning into more of like a mail-in website kind of business. So I'm gonna write that here, mail in. So this is where basically you can either, people will ship the phones in and you'll pay them, or if they're trusted people, you can kind of pay them up front and they'll ship to you. And so this honestly, this is a great thing if you guys are looking to scale your business. There are a couple companies out there that'll help you kind of create websites, and that's one thing you can start to promote. So you guys know I do Facebook ads. One thing I'm starting to help people with is not only just their local buying and selling game, but people that are in that mail-in website. You can go ahead and just promote those websites pretty much across Facebook ads to anybody in the US, because you're just getting phones mailed in. Obviously you have to have a professional business. You gotta have like an LLC or some sort of like way to file taxes. It's like official thing to do. This isn't really cash, it's just through like online transactions. So we're basically, you'll start to get people where they're mailing you their phones, and that's where you can kind of scale your business in one way. That's one thing I've talked about in the past. It's something I potentially might look into here in the near future, but it's definitely a great path for you guys. Mailing in is something like most people will kind of go into, in a little bit different route, and something like you guys 99% of you should probably know this, but there's this thing out there called private buyers, and I'm not going to necessarily put it in with actual mail-in, so let me write this right here real quick. This is so bad. Private buyer. So in a sense, private buyers are basically a mail-in as well, but a lot of the times they don't have like an official website. All they'll do is just have people like us ship them in phones. So a lot of the times private buyers really aren't making a lot of profit on the phones. You guys are always asking me like, how are these people buying phones so high? Like why can they pay more when like why can't we do that? And so I wondered that for a long time, and just being around them for so long, well not for so long, but for a decent amount of months now, and just kind of being in the game, you kind of learn a couple of things. So how do they really make their money? Private buyers, and again, this is something you guys can go into. They'll either do a lot of volume, so you might be wondering how do they make so much money? Well, they're not making a lot of money. They might be making $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 on a single phone, which isn't a lot, but with that said, how they do make decent money is they're just doing volume. So they get people like me or you end up shipping the phones to them, so they'll give us a price. They're pretty high, and we can usually sell them to a price where we're making $100 plus profit on those, and so they'll actually kind of do it in volume, or they can actually go ahead and resell to somebody across or internationally, and that's kind of a way they are able to make a lot of their money. Is so most of them will ship internationally. Some will just do volume, and they can do volume and internationally, and those are probably the guys that are doing really good in the industry. But I mean, that is a cool path you guys can go into, but I think for you to be able to do that, you really have to have a lot of connections. You really have to know what you're doing. You have to know what prices are going for literally across the world at any time. You have to have a legit price sheet, and that's something I always talk about. I mean, there's private buyers out there that are illegitimate, and there's private buyers out there that are legitimate, and I've talked about this in other videos, but you really just have to figure out like which ones are good, and they usually have great sheets and stuff like that. Like, they're legit Google Docs. They have every condition you can think of. They have multiple tabs for new inbox, for parts, used, like literally everything you can think of. That's what separates a good private buyer, other than somebody just writes on a notepad or just says like, message me when you actually go ahead and like buy a phone and I'll tell you a price. That's not really legit, and I've seen a lot of people get scammed from it, but that's not really the point of this video. That is kind of the third path that can be kind of coincided with mail in. You can kind of have both of those businesses, but a lot of the times private buyers are just people that buy from us. So again, you can see why you need to be in the industry for a little while to do that. You have to build up your connections, you have to build credibility, and again, you need to have a lot of capital. So don't, like, one thing I should mention is, before, if you're looking to get out of the local buying and selling, that's not just local sales, but you could be selling on eBay, Mercari, be selling to these private buyers. If you want to scale, you need to have a decent amount of money, because if in everything but local buying and selling, you're going to need a decent amount of capital, because you need people. If people are mailing in you phones all the time, you need to be able to fulfill those, and you don't want to get to the point where you can just not fulfill those and lose potential profit. And if that's the case, you should probably just keep doing buying and selling locally, which is totally fine. I know a lot of people that do that just as their side thing. But kind of getting into the last point, this is kind of the only other one I can think of. Don't get me wrong, there's probably other ways you guys can do this. There's probably other routes that I simply just don't know about, but this is just me being in this for a little bit over a year, seeing like what are kind of like the paths that I think like 90% of you could potentially go into. So I thought I'd make this video for you guys. And the last one is just a brick and mortar shop. So that's basically just your shop where you can just retail. So any shop you see driving by in the local plaza, that's basically your brick and mortar store. There's a couple of us, I think there's only one of us that does that publicly like has a YouTube channel. That's Win at Life with Dave. He has a shop. I don't know if he has multiple or not, but that is a huge way you guys can expand. And that's something you could potentially grow into multiple stores and make a significant amount of money with. And to be honest, that takes a decent amount of money. I don't know why more people don't do it. I honestly won't do it just simply because I don't really like retail. I don't like being stuck at one location, but in a sense, I could just outsource all that work, and it really doesn't take a lot of money to start up a shop. I mean, it's just the rent space and any inventory and possibly an employee here or two you start out with. So, I mean, brick and mortar shop is definitely a possibility for you guys. A lot of people I see kind of either go to mail-in private buyer route or go to the brick and mortar store. So it really kind of depends on what you're kind of looking for. If you want to do like, I mean, obviously if you're creating a brick and mortar store, it's one of those things where you're dedicating yourself to this, and obviously you don't need to be doing all the work. You can literally outsource everything. You're just the owner. I mean, I've been calling a lot of businesses lately just trying to help do some of their advertising, and like 90% of them say the the shop owner literally knows nothing about phones. They just outsource it to them, which is very smart, and that's how you do the right business in my opinion. So, but if you're just looking to try and scale your business, and then it could definitely be a full-time route. You could definitely do the mail-in and private buyer route. I'm not hounding any of these. These are all great routes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't really speak as fast as possible just because I'm kind of just talking one-on-one with you guys. I didn't want to make this too scripted or anything. Just kind of going based on my opinion. Again, there's probably other routes you guys can go, but from what I've seen, what's advertised out there, these are basically the main 4 routes you can go. You can either keep buying locally and like buying locally as well. You can either go the mail-in route, or you can go the private buyer route, and you can kind of combine those two if you please, or you can kind of go the brick and mortar shop. Again, if you're not doing that, if you're not doing, I'd say at least 10,000 a month buying and selling just on eBay and stuff like that, I wouldn't even try to tap in the mail-in private buyer or the brick and mortar shop. That's just my opinion. You can probably do it, but you need capital to do that. You don't want to lose business because you don't have enough money to send out to selling you their phones. So with that said, I hope you guys found some value in today's video. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. If you guys aren't subbed to the channel yet, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscription button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, you guys know what I said. 7 days a week now. Every single day I'm releasing a video for you guys, and I'm still keeping, maybe not, I'd technically be 6 days because I'm going to be doing live streams every single Wednesday, but I'm going to be actively on this YouTube 7 days a week now. So I hope you guys are excited for that. With that said, I'll catch you tomorrow in the next video.